This video is on how to find a fraction of a number. When we're talking about a fraction of a number, here is an example of what that might look like. Let's say you have a problem like this. 2/3 of 21, what does that equal? So that's what this video is going to help you figure out. Pause the video, make sure you have paper and pencil. You're going to have a lot of notes to write down to bring into your teacher tomorrow. Alright, so finding a fraction of a whole number. So here's a problem for you. I need to do 1/3 of my homework tonight, and my homework has a total of 12 problems. So how am I going to figure out how many problems I should be doing tonight? So again, what we're really trying to do here is find 1/3 of 12, because that's how much homework I have to do. Not very much. So there's two ways that we can do this. Number one, we can draw it out, and number two, we can create a number sentence. So let's first start with drawing it out. So there's a total of 12 math problems. So if you look at our dots here, each of these dots represents one homework problem. So there are 12 of them. And then the next part that you're thinking about is I only need to do 1/3 of them. So 1/3 is really like saying divided by 3. So you need to take these 12 problems and divide it up by 3. Well, 12 divided by 3 is 4. So that means I'm going to have 3 groups of 4. Now, you all know you only need one out of those 3 groups. So if you think of just one group, that would be 4 problems. So 1/3 of 12 equals 4. So that's the way to draw it out. Now, if you wanted to do a number sentence for it, okay, so if we wrote it out as a number sentence, you have 1/3 of 12. So really what you're doing is exactly like what we did in the picture. You have your 12 and you want to divide it up into 3 groups. So really what we're doing is 12 divided by 3. And the next part is you want one group of that 3. So the number sentence would be times 1. You only want one group. So again, 12 times 3 is, or divided by 3 is 4, times 1 is just 4. So this would be the number sentence way to do it. Alright, try this one. Levi opened 2/3 of 18 gifts. How many gifts did he open? So we have 2/3 of 18, and we want to do the drawing it out. So on your paper, you have to think about how many gifts is that you would draw, and just make dots, don't do gifts, that'll take way too long. So I'm going to draw 18 gifts real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure you do this on your paper. Pause the video if I'm going too fast. There's my 18 gifts. Aren't they beautiful? Alright, so the next stage would be you want to cut those 18 gifts up into 3 equal groups. So my 3 equal groups, I think 18 divided by 3 is 6. So I need 3 groups of 6. And how many of those groups do I want? I want 2 out of the 3. So that means I want this group and this group. So in these 2 groups, I have 6 plus 6 is 12. So my answer to this would be 12. He would open 12 gifts. If you just think about the number sentence, you would be doing 18 divided by 3, and then times 2. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Here's a one about flowers. Sophia has 16 flowers in her garden. 3/4 of the flowers were roses. How many roses does she have, and how many are not roses? So if you think about using the MPI protocol or the I know chart, you first have to just figure out what's the question we're asking. So the first question is, how many roses does she have? And then the second question you have to answer is how many are not roses. Some important parts of this problem would be that 3/4 of the flowers are actually roses. So 3/4 are roses, and Sophia has a total of 16 flowers. So my problem ends up being I need 3/4 of 16, because 3/4 of those 16 are roses. So if we use a number sentence, we have 16 flowers here, and we want to cut them up into 4 groups. So another way of saying, not necessarily cut them up, but divide them up into 4 groups. So 16 divided by 4. And then we want 3 of those groups, so I need to times that by 3. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Now remember, I had 2 questions, so how many roses did she have? That would be 12. How many are not roses? Well, if I have 16 flowers, 12 of them are roses. That means 4 are not roses. So those would be my answers. Okay, pause the video, try this one on your own. You can either do a drawing or you can just do a number sentence. When you're done, check to see how we did. Alright, so the question is, Terrence noticed only 5/7 of the 49 windmills were turning. How many is this? So 5/7 of 49. First thing I want to do, 49 divided up into 7 groups. And I want 5 of those groups, so 7 times 5. 49 divided by 7 is 7. 7 times 5 is 35. So 35 were actually turning on his windmills. And then this is one of our last ones we're going to do. Pause the video, read it, try and do it by yourself. Okay, so 45 seahorses took a trip to see the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. Only 3/5 of the seahorses remembered to bring their wallets to buy souvenirs at the gift shop. How many seahorses were able to buy souvenirs? How many seahorses went home empty-handed? Now, if you're a good problem solver, you will have read this problem a couple times. But let's kind of figure out some important information here. We know that there are a total of 45 seahorses. We know that only 3/5 remembered to bring their wallets. So I'm going to write down what we know over here. 3/5 of the 45 remembered their wallets, which means they can probably buy something. So the first question, how many seahorses were able to buy souvenirs? So that would be the answer to this, 3/5 of 45. So again, we do 45 divided by 5. We want 3 groups, so times 3. 45 divided by 5 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So 27 seahorses can buy something. And then the second question, how many seahorses went home empty-handed, which means they didn't get to buy anything. Well, if you have a total of 45 seahorses, 27 bought something, the rest did not. So the rest would be 18. They were empty-handed, which means they didn't buy anything. Sorry, you sad little seahorses. I have one more problem for you. But again, pause the video, try to do it yourself. I want to know who spent more money. Okay, hopefully for this first one with Alice, you did 120 divided by 4 times 3. 120 divided by 4 is 30. 30 times 3 is $90. For Bailey over here, she did 1/3 of 300. So to solve this, you do 300 divided by 3 times 1, and that equals $100. Down here to Carly, 5/8 of 240. So 240 divided by 8 times 5. 240 divided by 8 is 30. 30 times 5 is $150. There's my money sign. And then Deanna spent 2/3 of 270. See how I did over here? 270 divided by 3 is 90. Times 2 is 180. So, who spent the most money? Looks like Deanna did, $180. Check over your work and see how you did. And then this is the last one. You are going to do this on your own. It's kind of a confusing one, but do your I know chart if you need. Write down important information. What's the question really asking? and bring your answer in tomorrow. You're going to be talking about how to do this with somebody in your group. Good luck.